What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EDH Workshop. I'm MC Sebzi. Today we'll be talking about Ruxa, Patient Professor. This was a newer deck that I built a while ago, Vanilla Tribal. So yeah, I'll break down what the deck's all about. So swing over to the Mox field. How's everybody doing? Alrighty, so this is Vanilla Tribal. The main goal of this deck is, I guess, to pump out a lot of vanilla creatures. Ruxa's a 2/4 4/4. Enters the battlefield or attacks, I return a creature with no abilities from my graveyard to my hand, and creatures I control with no abilities get +1/+1/+1. And I may have creatures I control with no abilities assign their combat damage as though they weren't blocked. So basically creatures with no abilities. I don't know what's going on here, but apparently it's like that. But yeah, I got 33 creatures. The ones with no abilities, we'll go through them quickly. Alpine Grizzly, 4/2 for 3 mana. Balduvian Bears, 2/2 for 2. A Centaur Courser, 3/3 for 3. I try to get like the best of them. Colossal Speed, 5 mana, 5/5, just like the best bang for my buck, you know, like at least getting equal power or more power or toughness based on how much mana I spend into it. Gigantosaurus, 5 mana, 10/10, this is the best one, obviously. Feral Crushhawk, 5 mana, 5/4. Enormous Baloths is 7/7/7. 5 mana for 5/5. Grizzly Bears, 2 mana, 2/2s. I put the bears in because, like, why not? Hollowhenge Beast, 5 mana, 5/5. But yeah, I got a 5 mana, 3/7, 4/2, 6/7. I got some of the bigger ones, right? Yeah, here are all the ones without abilities, quite a lot. Let me see. Let me count how many I got. I got one artifact creature just because it also fits. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22 creatures without abilities. 23 if you count the Twin Voltreek Folk. So it's technically a 6/5 with no abilities, so it counts for this, I'm pretty sure. I could be completely wrong. If anyone knows, please let me know. But yeah, basically I get to put a +1 counter. +1 counters don't affect it because it's not an ability. Things that get and give it +1/+1 aren't abilities, so that's the best way to like utilize this, to just buff everything power and toughness wise. But those are my start off points. I have an aura here to make Ruxa indestructible when I attack for that recursion trigger. And then I thought, you know what, if I'm filling with vanilla creatures, I kind of want to go like real basic and put in a bunch of mana dorks. So I got an Elvish Mystic, I got a Golden Hind, I got a Land Noir Elves, and these will just help me ramp into, like, you know, some of the 5 mana 5/5s like super early. That way I'm just able to actually have big bodies fast. I got Garrick's Pack Leader. A lot of these creatures are 3 and up. I'll try to keep it for 3 and up, almost everything except for like the bears, which are 2-drops. But yeah, so anything enters the battlefield, I'll draw a card, which is nice. Finoran Helm taps for mana. Vanilla creatures, I got Kazandu Tuskcaller because she makes 3/3 elephant tokens, and creature tokens don't actually have any abilities. So, and especially these elephants that she makes, so I'm just able to put 2 3/3s that get in every time. Technically 4/4s getting buffed from Ruxa. Lanoir Visionary also draws me the card, but Mana Dork. I got Thrisso Nantuko Primus. This is a legendary insect druid, but he taps a green and taps to give a creature +5/+5. So again, that's not an ability, and it just makes it bigger. So for 1 green mana, I can buff it, and then that's where a lot of my like sorceries and instants kind of do. They just buff my creatures. So Gift of Gargantuan, This looks at the top 4 cards of my library. I reveal a creature card or a land from among them, put the revealed cards into my hand, and the rest at the bottom of my library. Just helps with ramp or, creature selection. Lay of the Land ramps. Primal Might gives a creature +X/+X, so again, no abilities, and then I fight something, so it's a bit of removal. Rabid Bite does removal as well. Revive, return something from my graveyard to my hand. Soul's Might gives a creature +1 counters on it, so it doubles something's power basically. 3 visit ramps. And then Beast Within to get removal and gives them a vanilla creature, which is kind of like nice little flavor. Bounty of Might just gives 3 things +3/+3, or 1 thing +9/+9, but basically, doesn't give it abilities. That's the main thing. Defend of the Hearth to prevent all combat damage to players. Fog, Giant Growth, 1 mana +3/+3. Hunter's Insight, so when something connects, which it almost always does with Ruxa, I draw cards. Windstorm just gets rid of flyers. Since I don't have creatures with abilities, I don't really have a lot of ways to get rid of flying. So I have like this, and I have a Plummet in here to just kind of like remove a bit of flyers. Again, I have Root Snare to prevent combat damage, so the fogs will help too. I have a Naturalize in here. I have a Reclaim to return something from a graveyard. Titanic Growth, again, just a buff. Artifacts. Belt of Giant Strength is great because it gives something base power, toughness 10/10, so they don't have an ability. And then the Colossal Hammer actually takes away flying if something somehow gets flying. So then, it doesn't have any abilities, just gives it +10/+10. Lightcrasher Bestiary, cast a creature spell, pay the 1, having a lot of the ramp and the mana dorks just help out. Rona's Monument makes everything cost 1 less, and when it casts a creature spell, target creature gets +2/+2 gains trample. This I can kind of put onto one creature, but now that I have trample, I don't necessarily need like the stuff from Ruxa, like the ability to get through for combat damage. But worst comes to worst, I can put it on Ruxa. I can put it on one of my no ability creatures like my Kazandu Tuskcaller, my Thriss for some reason if I need to, again, or I just lose out on a creature, but it gets, if I'm only doing it if I'm like I'm buffing like it by a bunch, right? But yeah, it makes things cheaper. Aetherweb, this flash enchants something, gives it +1/+1, and it can block as though it had flying, and can block creatures with shadow as though they didn't have shadow. This allows me to block creatures with flying without giving my creature an ability. It just can do those things. It does not staple abilities on it, which is very nice. It gives it +1/+1 as well. Also, entering a flash lets me, surprise people. But yeah, it's really cool because it doesn't errata text to anything. It just has the ability. It just can block things. It doesn't say also has, in quotations, X ability to do this thing, right? So it doesn't actually give it any abilities. Aspect of Wolf increases its power and toughness by half the number of forests I control, which is great. Blanchwood Armor gives a +1 for each forest as well, so these are nice abilities where now that I'm like just ramping over time, like my creature just gets bigger and they still have no abilities. Colossification, +20/+20. Elemental Bond, when a creature 3 or greater enters, I draw a card. Muruganda Petroglyphs, an all-star in this deck. Creatures with no abilities get +2/+2. There, it's plain and simple, just makes everything so much bigger. Wild Growth makes my land tap for extra green. This Sylvan Anthem gives all my green creatures +1/+1, which is all my creatures, and then whenever a green creature enters the battlefield, I scry. Primal Cocoon's pretty great too. At the beginning of an upkeep, I put a +1 counter on the enchanted creature, and then when the creature attacks or blocks, I sacrifice the Primal Cocoon, but I could put this on something and just kind of let it build up and build up and build up. So it's pretty nice for 1 mana. Like, I can drop it on the 2/2 bear, right? Because it's like, what am I going to do with the 2/2 bear late game? So I may as well just like chuck it on there and just let it sit. And then, I have other creatures to play, which is great. And then lands, I got Blighted Woodland to basically help find more forests. Graft, +1 counter is great. Lotus Field's great. It's just heavy mana ramp in a mono deck. I can gain a life with Sapseed Forest. and I can cycle this for a green. So, you know, just some utility lands, I guess. Once I have, like, you know, the ability to play a lot of my deck. Yeah, I think if anything, it might lack a bit in card draw. If anything, I might, like, I got a couple ways to draw cards. I got this guy, and then I have ways to draw cards through combat damage and, like, through creatures entering the battlefield. But, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that's Ruxa. Basically just built her to just play a bunch of vanilla things. And it, you know, at first I was like, oh, this will definitely be a lower powered deck. But I don't know, like, I played it with my buddies, and basically, like, he went up against us with the deck, and it, like, actually, like, wasn't too bad, because, like, all your creatures just get through. There's a lot of 2-drops, 3-drops. There's a big spike on 5-drops, just because a lot of the vanilla creatures cost 5. But being able to get a 6/2 just in for free, which is actually buffed by Ruxa for 7, like, that's phenomenal. Like, getting this in, oh, let me see, turn 2 I drop a bear, let's say. Turn 3 I drop Ruxa. Is Ruxa 2 or 3? I think Ruxa's 3. Turn 4 is Ruxa. So turn 2 bear, but anything I drop on turn 3, Alpine Grizzly, 4/2. Turn 4 I drop Ruxa. This is hitting for 5 damage on turn 4, which is nice, including my bear is hitting for 3. And just, like, even if you block, I choose whether your creature dies or whether you get the damage. And half the time I just deal the damage to you, because it's like, it's worth it. But yeah, it's a pretty cool deck. It definitely holds its own, and then, like, all the creatures get bigger with the buffs you have, and you just get a big board presence, you know, because you're dropping, like, a lot of 2-drops, a lot of 3-drops, for these, like, you know, 3/3s and stuff. But then they're all 4/4s, and they can all just hit without, like, needing to be, like, even if they're blocked, they hit you anyways, you know. Yeah, but that's the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's been a while since I've posted a video, but that's my vanilla tribal deck. Again, you can find me on Moxfield, MC Sebzi, MC_Sebzi, I guess. But that was my Ruxa deck, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna start putting out a bunch more videos now. I got a bit more time with the new work schedule. So yeah, excited to be putting up some more. This is the first of many, so enjoy.